Mics are live, and we are live. Wait, it won't click on the thing.
Oh.
There it goes. I don't know why everything loads so slow in the 5-person thing. It's as if there's too much to load, but it's just like a bunch of text boxes. I don't know. Ultra Podcast Z, episode 99. And as always, I am Manuel, leader of AJ Connections, and in the opposite corner is Konaru.
Hi, my name is Konaru, also known as Yanu. Yeah, I'm here. Hi.
No, it's funny. I'll get to that in a minute. But anyways, joining us tonight from the second episode of Ultra Podcast Z, because Tiffany will never remember that on her own. It's Tiffany.
Hello. I'm doing yay.
Yay, that's it. I'm Tiffany. Yay.
That's it.
And joining us on the bottom left, right next to Konaru, is somebody joining us from the 67th. You would have never known that, because I'm sure you did not even notice the number you're on. Callie.
I had no idea.
Yeah, there you go. It's Callie, everyone. That's Callie. Baked beans. Beans. What? Oh, by the way, Konaru, I finally subbed to you. So, well, I didn't sub to you.
You just follow me.
No, I subbed. I subbed. I did sub. I actually was waiting.
I'm gonna check on that.
No, you can check.
Now.
I actually was trying to wait for you to. I kept trying to wait to for you to actually stream so I could do it and be all cool and get it a shout out as Day to J plays. But you weren't streaming whenever I was available to do it, and I was like, God damn it! So I just did it while you were offline.
Checking my details right now.
Yeah, check. Jeez, I like it. You have to check. And I think I did it right after the follow. Funny enough, I don't know how you didn't see. That's so mean. But no, I really did. It gave me the little notifications. It gave me the little ribbony things, woo, yay! But I'm like, oh, Konaru doesn't get to see. I'm not gonna believe. So that's actually why I decided to say it. Anyways, this is episode 99 of Ultra Podcast Z. You know what that means, right, Callie?
It means that it's one episode from 100? I don't really know why it's the 99th episode and not the 100th episode.
Yeah.
Because I made a promise over 30 episodes ago. Konaru knows the promise I'm talking about, that we are not going to do the 100th episode until it becomes the furry episode. I said that correctly.
That also means we're going to have episode 99.1, 99.2, 99.5.
Well, what's keeping the furry episode?
I want somebody from the furry... Well, that too. I want somebody from the furry fandom, and I'll get to that in a second. Actually, I'll get to it now, because I want to talk about the 100th episode.
Is it going to be like Mob Psycho 100, where they never quite hit chapter 100, and they have lliterally 25 chapters?
I really think that's going to happen, because I actually okay. So, fun fact though, I didn't realize until I looked at the list that you were on episode 67. So that means that you've been on a third. More than a third, actually, because we've done more than 33 episodes. We've been on an entire third of the podcast, and I was like, I
haven't been on every episode, so.
I mean, you've been around during that presence, though. It's just crazy when you think about it. And you've actually been on several of those episodes. You've been on. This is your 11th. Fun Guru for 100.
Sounds about right.
So yeah, if anyone knows anyone in the furry fandom who wants to be in a podcast, let me know. Because originally I was trying to ask...
How can you not find a single person?
I'm getting to that. So at first I wanted either Max or Ren or both. Just because they're on the podcast and they're both furries. But I don't know if nobody wants to say it out loud. Even though they both said it on the pod, maybe because they don't want it to be public. This is the furry podcast and they're on it. Because they don't you can tell they don't want to be on it because of that. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to reach out to my known furry friends. And I asked them, they said no. And I'm like, that's fine. So I reached out to other people within the fandom I know, but I'm like, I don't know if they'll really be on the podcast. But hey, do you know anyone who wants to be on it? They gave me some people. TLDR, I've actually gone into rabbit holes of I talked to convention runners from Persona. I don't forget what the con's called. There's a con around here, and none of them want to be on it. And I'm legit telling them, and I'm telling them straight up, like, this isn't like lol furries. Well, we might do a bit of like funny stuff.
We actually want to learn. Yeah. We want to learn like the history.
Yes, I want to talk about furries in a serious, like, I don't want to be like, so like, but I want to talk about it in a serious way. We're not here just to like we're not like lol Rainforest 2020, like 2021.
Did you know that Markiplier's little brother is a famous furry webcomic artist?
I didn't know this.
I learned this yesterday when I was reading internet drama.
I was reading internet drama.
Oh my god!
One of my favorite subreddits is hobby drama, so I was reading a hobby drama post.
Oh,
did you guys hear about the new drama with my boy what the fuck, my boy Keemstar?
Oh, I heard about that. I watched the 45-minute.
I'm so fucking glad. Because I've been talking about that for like, okay, I've been talking about that for years, but I keep bringing it up when Callie's on for some reason. I don't know how it's come up so many times with Callie. You don't even remember I've said it around you, but I brought it up.
I remember us talking about Keemstar for various reasons.
Because that's actually exactly. Because whenever I bring him up, because usually because he does a drama alert, so whenever there's any drama, he'll be there. He's like a fucking fly to drama, but in a bad way.
Well, that's
I guess it's always
literally
a bad
how
way.
he makes money, so not surprised.
But like, he's such an asshole in general. And Tiffany, do you like Keemstar? Are you a fan of?
I only know the name Keemstar, but I don't follow that kind of stuff.
To be fair,
honestly.
To be fair,
you actually follow Keemstar, you're probably not a good person.
Exactly. Yeah, like, to be fair, I've never actually like sat down and watched the full drama alert or anything. I've seen like clips of things and whatever. But like I mentioned this before, and that's actually how me and Callie were talking about it way back in the day when we brought up Wings of Redemption or whatever. Is that I'll never forget when DJ Keemstar. Well, first of all, DJ Keemstar, I don't think he even goes by that anymore. DJ Keemstar was like part of FAG, something of Asshole Gamers or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, he was so racist, such a troll, such a sexist, racist troll. Like the epitome of the first-person shooter Call of Duty game player. You know what I mean?
On purpose.
Yes, and like
he was trying to be the height of asshole troll.
And every so often that stuff resurfaces and he just lulls it off. And I'm like, dude, how does he get away with that? But like everyone else will will say one thing, and it's, I mean, not to say they're not in the wrong either. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying he literally has like a bevy of of streams, like an entire chunk of his life. And I think he still does some of it, even when he was starting Drama Alert. I'm like, how did that never catch up to him? I don't know.
It's all about expectations. You can't be milkshake ducked if no one liked you in the first place.
Oh my god, I'm getting upset thinking about Keemstar. But anyway, this isn't about Keemstar. I just wanted to bring
up. It's about making bread.
Konaru, please.
I made bread. Do you want to see?
No. Did you?
I want to see your bread.
No.
How many bubbles?
I'm bringing out my bread. Give me 5. Give me like a few seconds.
Oh, you need 5 minutes.
Oh, she actually did bake bread. I thought she was just joking.
I thought she was just fucking with me too. What the hell?
Wow. See.
God damn it.
Everyone's making bread. You gotta get with the times, Manuel.
Did you make bread? I'm calling you Callie. Did you bring bread, Tiffany?
No, I can't eat bread right now. I'm on diet.
Oh my god. Who's going on a diet during the quarantine? Unless it's by accident.
It's perfect to go on diet. Well, I was depressed the first week, and that started the diet, so...
Oh my god. No, it's actually funny because I mentioned this when the whole...
Let's see the texture inside.
She actually does have bread. What the fuck?
Here's my half loaf of bread, because I already have
it. Looks so solid, though. And look at the...
Let's hear it.
Oh.
That's a pretty close textured sourdough.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty...
Oh shit!
He's a dense boy.
It's a dense boy.
I put him in
thick.
bread. I put him in like one of the little bread tin thingies. I just I let it rest like overnight, and then I baked it. And
the tin was so
a thick boy quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is my bread.
You have to use like those starters or something, right? You have to like.
Yeah, I made my own starter. Right, Manuel?
I hate you.
He's not talking to me.
He does not see it. He does not engage.
No,
I don't like the bread. Why are you still making bread?
It smells good. Look at that. Look at those bubbles.
It looks good. I wish I could have some bread.
I'll send you some.
I do want some sourdough though, so send
You
me.
can actually like send bread, but you gotta do it like a certain way. Okay, I'm gonna go put him back because he needs to be in a special case.
Bye.
Just let it get hard.
Bread.
There's like that bread place in San Francisco, and I just remember when I went the last time, I really wanted to buy some bread, but the line was so fucking long. You know what bread place I'm talking about, Tiffany? It's like on the pier. It's like
I know which one you're talking about. I forgot the name of it though. I can't think of it right now. Boudin?
Boudin's, yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted to buy bread because I was like, oh shit.
It's a chain.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Where the fuck are the others? Why was that one so? God damn it! Somebody send me bread. Except for Konaru. Konaru, I don't want Konaru's ugly home baked bread. I'm sorry, that was mean. That was mean to the bread.
That's mean. He has some feelings too.
I know the bread's crying.
My bread has feelings.
But no, circling back around to our actual topic tonight. Tonight, it's been 100 episodes of Ultra Podcast Z, but it actually hasn't. We're on episode 99. But if you go to the YouTube playlist of Ultra Podcast Z, there's 112 episodes there. That means this is episode 113. But there's also one episode that is forever lost because of actual legit audio reasons that's too hard for me to ever fix. And we technically redid that episode, so that one's forever lost. So this is actually episode 114. Isn't that stupid, the way we number? Callie, I want to hear your views on that numbering system we have.
I would need details as to which episodes you skipped and
why. I actually thought we had way more, but we keep doing half episodes.
Right. Are all these double episodes half episodes?
So far they have been, but if back in the day, now hold on, Ultra Podcast Z beginnings. So back in the day, Callie, can you believe this? If I had ever asked you to be on the podcast before, Tiffany and Konaru remember this. We were going to be a weekly podcast, but for some reason I thought that I could never stream weekly. So we were going to do 2 episodes in one night. So what I would do is we would record one for about an hour and a half to like, I said 2. First of all, I wanted them all to be shorter. It's supposed to be like an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and a half. We were going to record one, like have a totally recorded topic, like on something generic, like idols or, songs we like, things like that. Like a topic.
I bet that second episode was really bad.
They weren't that great. And then we would do the live episode. And
you did the live episode second?
Yes.
That was strange.
No, and that was actually the worst part because there'd be times where we'd be so, remember Konaru, we'd be so tired where we'd be doing the actual live one and we were done. Like our energy was done. And our dumbasses would do things like refer to jokes that we made in the recorded one, even though no one's gonna see that until, like, if they even do, no one's gonna see that until next week, or and then we it was a really stupid system.
So dumb.
And there'd be times that people would not want to do one or the other, or because it's like literally devoting 4 hours of a night, to podcasting, which is insane, especially because every so often the live one would go longer. And I remember one time, I don't know if Tiffany remembers this. You actually got really mad at me. Like you told me you couldn't do the live one. I mean the recorded one. So I thought you couldn't do any of them. So I'm like, oh, we're canceled, guys. Sorry. That I took a nap or started drinking or whatever. And then like around 8:00, you called me all ready to do the live one. I said that backwards, I think. But you called me ready to do the live one, and you're like, wait, are we canceled? Like, you bastard! You always do this shit. And you got really mad at me. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh well, that sounds about right for Tiffany. I'm sure, like getting mad at me in general.
I like how things like that, and then we're just like, "What are you even talking about?"
I mean, I remember this without even looking at it. So I
don't even remember all of these things.
I mean, gosh, you guys are here too. This wasn't that long ago. So yeah, we were just boys with dreams. Does anyone know when the first episode debuted? Because I don't. That wasn't like me trying to get smart there. Do you remember when it was, Konaru?
No.
Now, a smart person would have had that date written down.
I missed the Luna performance.
Are you serious? No! Okay, to be fair, I totally thought you were going to check out. I thought you were like keeping an eye on it. My bad. I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I let my phone fall asleep. It's not a big deal.
She was trying to watch a Luna performance on this drag stream.
I was trying to watch a drag performer perform a Luna song.
Yeah. Wait, which one?
Which what? Which song?
No, which drag performer?
Their name is .com.
Oh, friend!
Oh, right, because you do the K-pop up.
Yeah. She'll have recording or something.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, I'll bug her later. She always
do. Like, I'm tipping her now. There we go. Comments just Luna. Done.
But the podcast started at some point around August or September, and I know that because I went to Taiwan for a month, and I thought we were going to record all these episodes, and then Konaru got sick, and we couldn't. Do you remember that, Konaru, getting really sick late 2017 for like a month? Because that was a real thing.
I feel that.
I was sick.
Because you were supposed to be on the... Like, the whole idea for the podcast was that it was going to be Manuel and Konaru / Heidi, and it would be someone else in the third seat, like, every week. And the second seat would always be Konaru / Heidi. And almost right away, actually not even almost, immediately that fell apart. Because by week 2, neither Konaru or Heidi could be on. And the second episode was where we had Tiffany and Angie. Do you remember that at all, Tiffany?
I only remember like this much of that. I like almost forgot that ever happened.
I'll be real. I don't remember like a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Are you guys like on drugs? I mean, like.
No, we just have short attention spans.
I've been a guest. I've been a guest on like radio shows and podcasts here and there, and I remember everything I've been on.
Those are okay, but those are like you're going on other people's podcasts.
Yeah.
Special. But when you do something like every week like this, you're gonna forget a lot of things.
But like I do this every week too, and I still remember most of the little details. And I'm old.
I'm sorry, your life is so sad that you actually have to remember
Damn.
this.
I was gonna say something similar. I was gonna say, I guess you have nothing else going on.
I was thinking something similar as well.
Oh my god, I hate everyone. You guys are so mean. Well, this podcast originally started because we had a podcast called A to J Talks. Now, Konaru hates when I bring this up.
It's dead.
That's a long time ago. That one.
Well, that
podcast. Talk about it.
That podcast. Rose hosted that one. It was actually with me, and that one alternated back and forth between music and video games. And
yeah.
But Ultra A to J Talks was never the name that I wanted. I wanted to call the podcast A to J Typo Podcasts S, and or whatever the fuck it was. And that the running joke was it was full of typos. It was a stupid, silly name. It was a stupid inside joke, and the idea was that we'd have a fun, silly name. And
everyone loves inside jokes that they're not a part of.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is that we uploaded them all, and A to J Talks had no views. Like, I make the joke that nobody watches like this podcast that much. People watch this one compared to A to J Talks. Like, nobody was watching us.
It's because the topics are so different. Back then, all we talked about was like niche topics that no one cared about.
And I think Rose was doing the uploading too, and the descriptions were always felt like a little. Because I look at them now because I could like go back to them. And I'm like, I would have so done this differently if I was uploading it. Filled it with keywords here and there, but whatever. But the one episode that actually had a decent amount of views on YouTube was the first episode. We actually did one as Typo Podcast S, and then immediately everyone outvoted me, and Heidi was voting for that name as well. Everyone outvoted us to vote for A to J Talks. Oh, concerning cough. Because back then, everything in A to J was A to J this. What are you laughing about, Callie?
The concerning cough. And then
because like our food blog was A to J Eats.
It's a branding. Okay, we had to say consistent.
No, and it's weird because there's still remnants of it. Like, notice the Twitch channel. It's called A to J Plays, and that was the idea. That's the last remnant from that. And I don't think it even exists anymore. We used to have like a movie section of the site. I think I just folded those into other things. That was A to J views and so on. It was stupid.
Yeah.
So the
Just like
podcast,
you.
the podcast was called A to J Talks. Shut up. The podcast was called A to J Talks, and we did that for 52 episodes. And like when Heidi moved to Japan, I wanted to cancel the show then, and we kept doing it for a few more months. I remember like we kind of replaced her with Angie for a bit, and then I actually don't remember how the sputtering that came to the end. I remember like. I don't know if I'm spilling too much tea here, but like me, Rose, and Tiffany, we did not really get along that well. Or I should say, to put it more accurately, at the time, Tiffany and Rose didn't get along well with me.
Yeah.
To be more
Man,
accurate.
But here's the thing, no one ever gets along with you.
Oh my god! Well, Tiffany, what the hell? I thought we were cool. I thought we were like BFFs right now. What the hell? I thought we were friends.
Okay, Manuel, let's be real.
Tiffany laughs at me.
Come on.
No, but we didn't get along too well then. And I remember we fought a lot. Actually,
you would always bring up something, and all of us would be like, "That's dumb as hell," and you're like, "I don't care."
No,
Great havoc.
No, as a matter of fact, that was actually half of the fun, quote unquote, of watching A to J Talks, because we mainly fought, and by fought, I don't even mean like we fought amongst each other. You guys just fought against me usually. You like all those episodes. Most of them, a few of them were taken down by copyright claims. Most of them are still on YouTube. So if you want like a funny blast in the past to see us all as babies and me in a completely different apartment, you can watch that and just watch us fight. There's a famous moment when like I kept interrupting Heidi and she yelled at me and she wouldn't talk anymore for like the rest of the show. Remember that? When she's like, "Shut up, Manuel!" And she like yelled at me, and then I was like, "Okay, go on." She's like, "No, I'm not going to anymore." And she wouldn't talk, and she would not talk for the rest of it. So yeah, like I pissed off everyone back then. That's basically the point of A to J Talks.
Yeah, don't blame us. Don't make it seem like we didn't get along with you. You just always
no. And back then,
you were always the instigator of things.
No, and back then, because Tiffany, myself, Heidi, and Rose were like kind of like the upper people, and then Tipu would be around sometimes too. We would often use the podcast as like meetings, like at the end.
Yeah.
And A to J was actually really active back in those days, so we would use the end of it to like have our like legit meetings, and almost all those meetings were like everyone ganging up on Manuel. It was actually very awkward.
We would have to like have a talk. We would be like, "Oh, we got to talk to Manuel because he's saying this or doing this, and he's not listening to our opinions." So we have to like have like a separate chat and then plan out like how we can approach this. And then at the end, like,
plan of attack against Manuel.
Hey, it's not really working out. We don't really like that you're doing this. And then he's like, "I don't get it." You guys just ganging up on me. I don't like it.
God damn, Tiffany. So yeah, I'm thinking of some old tea.
He's out here spilling the real tea.
Yeah, this is the real A to J. Like I thought we just watched clips, and here we are spilling the real tea of how this podcast came to be. So yeah,
way better than watching clips.
I know, it actually is. So yeah, we would actually fight a lot afterwards. I remember there were times when I would dread the podcast because like it was almost like I don't know how to put it. It's like kind of facing an execution, for lack of a better way to describe it. Because like they would tell me, it's like, "Oh, by the way, afterwards, like we have to have like a bigger meeting where other people are gonna tune in, like because the podcast would be like, say, me, Tiffany, and Rose, and then afterwards, it's like, oh, Tipu's gonna come also, and whoever else or whatever." And I'm like, "Ah, fuck!" And I would just do the podcast like dreading when we were gonna be done, like legit, like I just did not want to finish it because I knew that when we were done, it's like, oh god, we're gonna just like argue. But real talk, I actually missed that podcast. It was a lot of fun. It was mostly unscripted. We did have notes sometimes, but mainly.
I mean, as we know, every other podcast we've ever done is scripted.
And actually, Konaru remembers the scripted days at UPC, but no, I actually don't remember why the podcast ended. I think it was a mixture of a million things. Like Rose left A to J for a while, not because of me, funny enough, but because of personal reasons. And so Rose left for personal reasons, and And I think like I was just like, it's an excuse to not have the podcast for a while. Actually, no. Why did we leave? Because Rose is still around. Rose left later during the UPZ days. Anyways, I don't know why it ended, but I didn't mind it ending at the time because I thought a lot of it was just like I didn't know what we were doing. But then Rose, because this is the part I remember, Rose didn't leave right away. Rose revived the gaming podcast, and she called it. Do you remember the name of it, Tiffany? Because you were on an episode, I think. It was like Ultra 4K podcast something with Knuckles, or Complainathon with Knuckles. It was a stupid ass name.
No, because like Knuckles was like the popular meme.
Yeah,
and Knuckles. But I remember it was True 4K Complainathon. There was more to it. But it was True 4K Complainathon something with Knuckles, and Knuckles, and it was a pretty cool logo and everything like that. And they started their own podcast, totally without me, totally gaming. It was mainly Rose, Janet, Tipu, and Nestor. It's funny because everyone's still around. I'm like all these figures that we've named are all still around. Mostly, and then around this time, like I was like, let's do a podcast. And like Konaru, like, and you were super excited because Konaru was just joining A to J, and like everyone just joining A to J, they were actually young and chipper and full of vitality and not hating me yet.
And you just sucked that vitality directly out of them.
I felt like I'm a bad boss because like
you are.
like working retail.
There's a reason that Party City you made.
No, exactly. I was gonna say because like working retail, like I'll see a lot of first-time retail employees, and like they're young and they're full of life. And they want to work, but then again, part of that is retail. But then you go within like a month, they're just like everyone else. They're done with life, and like a part of them has died and will never come back.
I honestly can't imagine they were that chipper. They're like, finally, my dreams come true. I'm working at Party City.
No, there were some who really were, but like mind you, these like high school kids. But there were some who were, especially during Halloween, especially some of the Halloween hires.
Yes.
I don't know, but anyways, and then I was brainstorming ideas. Even though it looks like we stole their True 4K Complainathon idea, myself and Heidi actually kind of like developed the name, and it was like stolen more correctly from. Wasta. They have that song Ultra Midikuru something. Do you remember the name of it, Tiffany?
No.
I
know. Miracle.
Something
Choco Beans. And so like we didn't take the whole thing. We kind of just rejigged it around like Ultra Miracle. Like actually, I don't even. Do you remember the name of the podcast originally, Konaru? I'm gonna try to look it up real fast. I don't remember the full name of it anymore. Yeah.
Don't remember what?
The original name this podcast had. Did you know this, Callie? This podcast has a much longer name.
Yeah, we had a longer. Yeah, Ultra Final Ultimate Ultra Miracle Podcast or something like that.
Yeah,
I'll be honest, I didn't know the name of this podcast that we're on right now.
Did you know it before this? Out of curiosity, before I just mentioned it?
I still don't know it. Right now, I do not know the name of this podcast.
Out of this second? Are you serious?
Go back to our old YouTube videos.
It's Ultra Podcast Z. It's like right there.
Gone.
It's on the thing.
Yeah,
I have like the Twitch chat like popped out, so I'm not on the page.
So the original name of the podcast was Ultra Final Ultimate Miracle Podcast Z 17. Z17. And these are all references. Like the whole name itself was a reference to Wasta, but the Z was a reference to Momoro Clover, and the year was a reference to Morning Musume. And we dropped the year almost right away because that became an issue because then we needed to make new logos. We do have 1.8 and actually do have logos until like 21. I still have them, but the problem is we changed the main logo like Konaru did it, and I was like, we're not doing the year. And even though
I did the logo.
Yeah, even though Konaru made a new logo, we still kept the miracle that we never say. But yeah, we created that name, and then we did the podcast, and then I disappeared for a month, and then we recorded episodes.
Did you go to Thailand?
Taiwan, and I disappeared for the month, and then we did a bunch of recorded episodes, and we actually got kind of popular. I don't know if you remember those days, Konaru.
Yeah. We
actually have never really quite met them. Like that level of popularity. We kind of had a bit of it during the Corona times. And I think it's kind of coming back.
We're still in Corona times.
Yeah, we're still kind of
times.
well, like we'd actually have a decent amount of viewers on our own, and we'd have a decent amount of views. We had a lot of interactivity. People hated us and liked us at various times, but then at some point it just turned to pure hate.
That's not right.
And it actually this time around, I'll really admit, it wasn't just me. Like Konaru remembers, I'm sure Konaru remembers. Like you actually got a lot of hate for some of your views too.
What did I say though? Well, I mean, I said
no, because they were talking a lot of crap about like, oh, it's like with her little idol show or whatever, and you got like, remember that late like.
Wait, who?
Somebody commented on your thing. It's like, oh, I'm not gonna listen to Konaru with her stupid little idol show, Texas Idol Festival. It's like, what does she have to say? And then you actually got really upset, and there was this whole not Twitter, but this whole YouTube argument. And people are just stupid.
Until recently, I had like YouTube responses turned on, so like if people responded to my comment, I'd get a notification about it. But like the responses were so dumb, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like my comment was funny, you suck. I'm tired of it. So I just throw it out in the world now, and it stays there.
No, like I don't know. I liked I like people commenting on our videos, but I also very early on used to make the joke, and I made this joke even during the AJ Talk days, even during the early AJ days, that if we can't get people to like us, let's just get them to hate us. It'll be just as good. And not in a trolly way. Like we were never trying to be trolls. Like I'm not like trying to be Keemstar, like saying a bunch of nonsense. We would just let our opinions out there. We wouldn't be middle of the road. We just like have strong opinions about what we had, and it worked a little too well. Where we got people like we offended like a lot of alt idol fans with some of our comments about alternative idols like Chica idols and whatever, and they hated us. All the dad fans, like as Konaru calls them. It's funny because like whenever I bring up that term, apparently some people find it offensive. Did you know this, Konaru? And I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you made it up. I've actually never really heard it because like whenever I bring it up, people are like, "Oh man, that's kind of like." I guess it's like the equivalent of like Boomer and Karen, where like only the people who get it said to are offended by it because like, that sounds weird. Because of course they'd be the ones who are offended by it, but they're the only ones who find it offensive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, do you know what a dad fan is, Callie?
No.
Explain it to her, Konaru.
Oh, I gotta sneeze.
Oh.
Okay, no, just kidding,
Did you back away? Did you back away from the virtual sneeze, Callie?
Huh?
It looked like you backed away from the virtual sneeze. Like you were like, she's like, I'm gonna sneeze. You're like,
I mean, no.
It looked like you backed away from it.
Hey, we don't know everything about coronavirus yet.
It's 5G brings coronavirus.
Brings corona. No, but basically, back then, I think it was me who made this up because I saw it like on a Facebook post, and I was like, "That's funny. I'm gonna say that," because like I was a young impressionable teen, angsty and stuff like that. And I just wanted to be cool and everything, but then actually turned into a real me. But no, but the dad fan thing refers to mostly like middle-aged baby metal fans who like migrated from like metal rock, like US stuff, like US music and everything like that, but then they converted over to like baby metal and alt idol and things like that, and they had like just weird perceptions and like dad views.
I was gonna say I didn't imagine there were people like that, and then I realized I had met someone like that, and then I was like, never mind.
Oh, I think we're thinking about the same person, but he's cool.
Probably. I think I met them through you.
Yeah, he's cool. I won't name him because obviously I think he's cool, but I won't name him because I want to like bring his name into this conversation. But yeah, technically he's the definition of one, but he's a good one. But yeah, there's actually a lot of honestly, as far as the Western fandom is concerned, that's the biggest chunk of the alternative idol, Chica idol fandom.
They're boomers.
Yeah, and then usually because they're a lot older, some of them, not all of them, but some of them have like decent careers or not even decent careers. They're just willing to spend all their free money, like that midlife crisis thing. Like this is all my instead of buying the Lamborghini.
What I too, because I was like, man, I think a lot of these people are in midlife crisis, but I'm also not going to say anything.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to be in a midlife crisis when I get to their age, so I shouldn't judge before because then it'll probably the same thing should happen to me. So
This is their Lamborghini. It's like funding idol concerts in the U.S. or overseas. That's usually what they do. Like, they'll go and they'll spend like thousands of dollars on all their stuff, or like, they'll just pay for their like flights over here, like, and so on, and pay all their fees just to see them here, and then they will go to Japan as well. But yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't know. It's and part of me feels bad calling them out like this because we actually did go through some funding similarly, but I don't. It's different types of people. We went through some of this kind of funding when we're trying to bring Koto over, but anyway,
it's completely different.
It is completely different. It's totally different people for starters, but it's like different attitudes, different a lot of things.
Different vibe, but just overall.
Yeah, and I don't want to bring this. I don't want to put this out there, but this person's a much younger person and not a dad, so I don't know. It's not a metal fan, and so on. But anyway. Tiffany, do you remember being on the early days of Ultra Podcast Z?
No.
I think we've covered that part.
None of us really remember the early days.
Hold on, I'm gonna keep talking over it, but I'm gonna play a bit of Tiffany's first episode in the background and see if any of this jogs a memory. Memory? What's a memory?
Will you be able to hear it?
Yes, yeah, I'm gonna play it as so I will disappear. My camera will disappear for a minute. Actually, I need to do it over here because oh god damn it, Tiffany, that's mean. By the way, while I'm getting this ready, I want to say rip Fanime, which is supposed to be happening this weekend. And
I still think that we should do an A to J drink talk learn instead of and then just have full both panels and drinking at the same time.
We could do that.
I don't think Twitch actually allows
No, you can
on stream drink. You can.
Yeah, you can. There's actually a drunk section where you could just drink, like not even play games. Where you could just drink. Believe it or not. But yeah, I'm gonna play this, and then we're going to I'm gonna disappear for a minute.
We're gonna play Jackbox? What?
We're not gonna play Jackbox.
I wanna play Jackbox. Can we do Jackbox 8 night, please?
Hold on, I gotta leave full screen for a second. Sorry guys.
Oh, I can't see it.
There we go. And this was episode 2 of Ultra Podcast Z. Ultra Final Ultimate Miracle Podcast Z 17.
I think if I'm not
it's too loud.
I think Heidi was the one who actually jokingly said it, and then I kind of.
Oh, we're talking about the name. We're talking about the name here. But yeah, do you remember this?
Manuel.
Huh?
Ew, look at Manuel.
I know my mask isn't up, but you can see my beard, and you can see back when I had Cappy on my mic. That's a different mic too.
Is this pre?
Yeah, we're talking about
Angie Twitch famous.
Yes, this is way before that. Also, I don't know why she has her bangs pulled back here. I realized watching this. I don't know if like maybe haven't seen Angie that much. I've never really seen her with the bangs pulled back. I actually thought she didn't have them here. I'm like, did she just not have bangs when I first met her-ish? This wasn't that long ago. I met her. I've already known her for over a year at this point. But no, I looked, and she was on an episode a couple nights later. She had bangs suddenly. But
I like her like in-house look, like in your own room look. You know, like when you pull your back. Like if your bangs are messy, you might as well just pull them back.
It's funny because like Tiffany's setup looks very like obviously it's the exact same room, but
it's the same.
Well, yeah, no, it looks identical. Even your hairstyle is really similar.
Yeah, just color hair.
It's funny because you can't tell in this podcast. I'm actually in a different place, and I don't have a ring light, so I'm just like lit by a lamp, which is why everything's a lot brighter.
You have a ring light now?
Yeah, you can't see it. I'm like, that's a ring light, can't you see? But that's actually why I'm like lit in this weird way, because I'm lit directly for starters. But
Yeah. Hi, I'm Angie, correspondent for Energy.
Look, Angie. It's like, hi, I'm Angie.
Hi, I'm Tiffany.
Who sent me something? Tiffany's exactly the same 2 years ago. Oh my god.
At least
wait, what happened?
Uh-oh.
Did she say something?
Konaru's gone.
Wait, did she say something?
Who I am. You know who I am.
Yeah.
It's like, what if somebody didn't watch episode 1?
Oh my god.
What if somebody
I look so disgruntled. But I don't look like that.
But no.
I assume Konaru's coming back. I can't open Discord right now, but let me scoot ahead a little. Sorry for everyone watching because I think all of our boxes are all screwed up. I know mine's still fine. Tiffany's is all screwed up.
I didn't want to go. I was like, I'm not gonna go, and the only reason why I went was
Oh,
How
she's
long
back.
ago was
I
this?
want to go. And I'm
This
like,
was
okay,
over
I'll
2
go.
years ago. This was 2.5 years ago.
No way.
Okay, that's not like crazy long ago.
But yeah, let me scoot ahead.
Here was
I didn't actually.
Oh, look, we're talking about
longer.
J-Pop Summit. Remember this?
oh. Like I don't want to think about those J-pop summit interviews. Those were so. It was like one of the hardest interviews. We had them back to back. They were in hot rooms.
Oh my god, I forgot about those
They all had
rooms.
they had so many different like styles that they wanted us to do interviews because they had all different management. Some of them were like really relaxed and they didn't care, and some of them were really like up in your face. That was stressful.
I remember.
And I was wearing cosplay, so it was
Oh yeah.
like weird, awkward as hell. Huh.
What is your costume?
It's I'm not wearing a jacket, but it's Wake Up Girls. We like filmed the cover in the morning, so I had to wear it.
Yeah, we interviewed Tokyo Gay. We interviewed
Oh, I don't even want to think about that interview. It has so many views, but all those comments,
Oh my god, yeah.
they're like this shit
I kept trying to,
interviewer.
I kept wanting to ask you which of them are bad because that conversation is a fucking mess, but it's mostly in Japanese. I wanted to ask
Yeah.
you which ones are the ones I should delete, if any, because that video has almost 1 million views now. I think it's like at 800,000. Yeah, on the interview that we did with them. No joke. It's earned us I don't know if I should say this, but it's earned us quite a bit of money. And no joke, I've never told this story on a podcast before because I told Angie many times, and I think I bought her lunch over it, which is kind of hilarious of all the things to do. But this was an interview I did not want to do. Like, because we already had Tiffany members. Well, Tiffany did them. We already had like 5 interviews already over 2 days. And she was convinced, she's like, you should do Tokyo Gay because they're really good. And for those who don't know who they are, they're a dance, they do vocal stuff too, but they're like a dance cover group mainly.
They do like dance their own choreo and stuff like that.
Yeah. And the leader of the group is a guy named Mikey. And he's really famous in his own right too. And I think a lot of them are actually really famous in their own right, which is part of the reason Angie was telling me we should really interview them. And I was like, fine, we'll interview them. And then, like, even as the interview was coming up, I did not want to do it. Like, I kept pressuring Angie. Like, Angie wrote all the questions. Like, I'm like, Angie, you have to write the questions. Like, I'm not going to do this. You wanted it. I don't know why I was being so mean to her. I remember this, though, and she was just she's like, fine, I'll do it. And she wrote all the questions. Tiffany translated them, of course, into the interview. And the whole time, I'm like, oh, the interview was kind of awkward, too. Because, like, the questions were awkward. No offense to Angie. The questions were awkward because Angie wrote them. They were really different to anything we would have asked normally. And then they were really chill. Put it down a little. And then we do the interview and publish it. And it was actually the last one I translated too because I did not really want to do it at all. It's our most popular video ever. It's earned us hundreds of dollars. More like 4 figures of dollars. And like every so often, like when I look back on it, I show Angie and I'm like, look how much money the interview I did not want to do, you made us. I'm like, I'll buy you lunch. And she's like drinking many free drink off of Manuel, so I think I owe her quite a bit for that one. Well, to be fair, a lot of that just funded it. It's not like I'm like, oh man, you pocketed all this money. I've lost many.
Where's my drinks? I'm the one who had to interview and get bashed.
I was gonna say you're the one who actually gets like all the hate in the comments.
I got so much hate and shit talked on those comments. I
Yeah.
can't read those comments anymore. It gives me too much anxiety. They're always like, she's so ugly. She's so dumb. I hate her voice. Her questions are dumb as hell.
No!
Get the fuck out of there.
The worst.
Kill yourself. I'm like,
That's why, like, as much as I want to do interviews for Ada J, like,
The worst.
Oh my God.
The worst is reading the ones about the
Usually-
questions.
it wasn't like usually other ones, you know, if I'm in there, I'm obviously like now that I'm I don't know how old now, it's like I would probably never go in cosplay or wear any fashion pieces and go interview anymore, but like oh my god, just, you know, it wasn't that big of a deal. People didn't really comment about the interviewers ever. Like, see, I'm like in a different, like I'm wearing like a fashion thing now.
Yeah, in the
But like
with Link or whoever they were, but yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it wasn't a big deal for everyone else, and then all these Tokyo gay people like ripped me apart. They were like, "This fucking person sucks."
Oh my god, no, it's funny because Tiffany mentions all the comments. It has like hundreds of comments, and some I haven't even seen because they're like within threads, and they're almost all in Japanese. Actually, I think like 98% of them are in Japanese, and but some of the ones I bothered to translate, I'm like, oh my god, it's like poor Tiffany, and I don't know how many of them actually sound bad or like really bad and originally, or I hate policing comments in general, but I really feel like that comment section needs to clean up. I'll do that one of these days. But yeah, I feel bad when Tiffany gets attacked for the questions because that goes back to the entire thing I already mentioned, that the interview did not want to happen, and part of me wants to explain that in the video. Oh look, there she is with the fuck's that group called? They're not even around anymore. They broke up like last year or 2 years ago.
Baby Raids.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, they broke up. Rip them.
Yeah.
I remember the girl on the right, she's like the tallest one, funny enough, but she's actually the youngest.
Wasn't she the one that was swatting the fly the whole time?
Yeah, and then not only did she swatting that fly, but there was that part where they asked her a question, and she was like, well, you guys can see what I'm doing. She's like, she kept like going into herself.
She was very like,
and it was so awkward. I actually cut it out because like there was like a legit like 30 seconds or 45 seconds of her just going and like literally shrinking into herself. Oh, there you are with Maine. Look at that, you're with Maine, fucking Maine. And I remember Angie, because I think we alternated a bit. Oh no, Angie wasn't supposed to be with us for all these interviews, but she wanted to be with us just because of Maine. So originally I wanted Tom to carry all the shit, and so she's like, I want to meet Maine. And then when we did the Maine interview, they kind of just rushed her out, so she never got a picture with Maine, and she was kind of upset by that. R.I.P. So
that was an interesting one too because we were Wug, and she had done stuff with Wug, so it was kind of like, oh, hey.
I can't remember. Did she notice? I don't remember that one way or the other.
I didn't talk to her about it, and she was like, oh, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it wasn't like significant.
You can't see it here, but Angie was wearing the same cosplay, not the same cosplay, but she was wearing matching cosplay as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think this little gallery's gonna include because me and Angie did take a picture with I don't remember her name, the girl from AKB48, the Inca girl.
Yeah.
But make sure.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't remember her name. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Something Misaki.
Yeah, something Misaki. I can't remember her name. I can't remember the rest of her name. I mean to say. But just in case anyone's wondering, and I'll play this for posterity's sake because I feel like we should see it. This is episode 1 of Ultra Podcast Z. Do you remember this, Konaru? Look at
what?
Wait, are you frozen? Oh no, you were frozen in that camera. Look at Konaru.
Ew.
This is baby Konaru.
My hair straightened. Oh god.
It's unstraightened hair, Konaru.
I'm gonna be real with you. I deleted I deleted a lot of photos of me, like before I got my hair straightened.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I actually did. I don't know, I like my hair now, so every time I see something with like my natural hair, I'm just like, oh my god.
Isaiah came in the chat. Sorry, Isaiah came in the chat. He's like, hi, okay, see ya. Because we never noticed.
No!
We never noticed it. That's just funny. Sorry. I actually forgot we were doing a podcast. Oh, people are watching. I actually forgot we were doing a podcast. I do this a lot. I'm like, we're just reminiscing. We're just like talking shit. But yeah, this is the first episode. It was so funny. Like, you even hear me say it at some point during this podcast. I was actually really excited for this one because there was a lot of planning in this podcast. Like, it took us like about a month. No joke. From like brainstorming names, thinking of a format. I actually got that logo commissioned. It was by a friend of mine whose name I can't remember. He was like tagged in all the in all the videos for like the entire time we used it. I do remember that he used to run the Little Tokyo J Fashion meetup, Harajuku Day. That's what it was called. He used to run Harajuku Day for its first year or two. Then he disappeared from the scene. But yeah, we got a little commission by him. I remember Tiffany was upset with that use of katakana. She's like, it makes sense, but you wouldn't say podcast like that or whatever. So, do you remember that, Tiffany? That conversation we had?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's weeb. It's weeb enough. By the way, I just noticed that I don't know if it was him or me who made this like transparent version of it. Oh, by the way, the P, the O, and the A are not properly transparent.
The moment you pulled this video up, I was like, who made that transparent logo?
Oh, did you notice it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's been like that forever, but like I should look if the other episodes are like that. Fun fact, the reason why you keep seeing the video lag, see like a lag right there, all these early podcasts, the first like 30 episodes or so, my dumbass never thought it was worth recording our own copies, like to save for posterity's sake. So all the first 30 episodes or so only exist on YouTube. So these are YouTube rips. Mind you, I didn't make these today. I made these when I started recording them. I'm like, I better get those other episodes up. Because I mentioned this before, all the A to J Talks episodes, those are all done by Rose, and all the extra footage we had, all the unedited podcasts, all the ones that weren't just stream rips, those don't exist anymore because she deleted all of her stuff. So I was kind of worried about that, but look, I got my own shit, like 30 episodes gone, like just like this. What are we talking about?
Getting pressed, and I don't remember this, Heidi, because you were pressed. I thought she got pressed at the last minute. I also get pressed badge, so I feel a little better about myself.
What press badge? I thought I put the volume down, but I'm rewinding the video.
A nice segue into this is next week, or I'm sorry, not even next week.
Oh, J-Pop Summit. J-Pop Summit. We're talking about J-Pop Summit, which is happening. I forgot this episode came before the other one. I like how there's no topics. Like, 'cause if you watch an episode today, you could like scrub through it and see the topic things at the bottom. I was not smart enough to have thought of that yet. But more interestingly enough, let's move on to this episode. Don't worry, we're gonna come back to like more stuff, but it's already opened up the media thingy. I'm like, let's watch some more clips. Let me find it. And it's right here.
Oh no!
Look, it's
I want to hear
Callie.
myself.
It's
What's going on
Callie.
with Molly?
I know she's like moving.
Molly was sewing a costume.
I know, it was just like Molly's butt for a minute there. What was that? But yeah, she's like pulling up a dress form or whatever you call those thingies. But yeah, it's Callie from 7 or 8 months ago. Look, it's baby Callie.
I know. I can hear myself a little bit. I don't like it. No.
Molly.
It's like almost similar, except there's less cosplay going on in the back.
I know.
That's because I have a craft room now. So.
Oh, this is Callie.
No,
talking.
I can hear myself. I'm taking out my headphones. The best cosplay I ever did was Taiga Aisaka from Toradora, which I cosplayed.
Hear you.
She took out her AirPods.
In 2009.
She's like, whoop.
Yeah.
No, I thought I shared this one though because I came across this one when No, for those who don't know, when we do our thumbnails, we actually do videos because I'm too stupid to like just do a screenshot. So here, let me find it. Hold on, I'm trying to find the good one. There's a good one I'm trying to find. I can't find it. I'll just play this one. Hopefully it's not bad. What the fuck? Hold on. This is me saying fuck really loud. Look, this is how we do our thumbnail. Okay, this one has Max of all people. Look, you can see how we do our thumbnails. I like how Max is not moving. This is like the most uninteresting one I could have picked. Konaru, what are you doing?
Aw, that's cute.
Look.
Ew. Wait, was that after I got my crochet?
Yes, this was after.
I had my dog ears on from Disney because those were like the poppin' thing at the time.
Yeah.
I wanted to be just like everyone else.
Now this one's one of my favorites. I'll find the one I'm trying to show you guys later on. No, but watch what Max ends up doing. This is one of my favorites. Because Max is doing that.
Selfie.
No, she's doing it. No, she's doing the thumbnail. But watch what she ends up doing when like she's holding it. She's holding it normally, and then look what happened. Then she rolls her eyes back. What the fuck was this? You know what the topic of this podcast was? It was maid
What?
it was maid cafes. And the thumbnail to
What?
that, yes! And the thumbnail to that is fucking her rolling her eyes back. So I'm like, what the fuck was that?
None of this screams Maid Cafe. Like, no one looks like they're gonna talk about Maid Cafe.
Yeah, we had some problems then.
It looks like an alt-idol podcast.
Exactly. I'm like, what was this whole podcast? Shit, do I even have... Oh, I think I deleted it because it was too new. I was trying to show off the... Yeah, I deleted it because it was too new. I was trying to show off the thumbnail when Callie was on, when she brought up all of her manga and then she dropped them all.
Oh.
She's like,
I can do it again. I can
can drop all
recreate
the
all, you get all of my manga.
and this is the one I was talking to Konaru about earlier. It's like...
Ew.
It's Ren reacting to the Peppa Pig video.
Now we can go in the water.
Do you
I
remember
love
this?
Peppa Pig.
Do you remember this video,
Why couldn't
Tiffany?
we have...
No, okay. Hold on, let me pause it. You want to know why? You want to know why you should remember this video, Tiffany? Because
Why?
back in the old days of the podcast, we used to have segments, and one of the segments is that we would live react to a common Joshi video, like one of their Mimi videos, and the video I had chosen did not want to load. So I'm like, fine. When we're done, I'll record it afterwards and I'll insert it. And then when the podcast was over, I found the video and I was getting it ready for us to like record so I could insert it. And you did not want to do it at all. You refused. And then you and Konaru found this video of Peppa Pig with no narration. And you're like, this is the funniest thing ever. Let's react to this instead. And I got so mad, I just hung up on you guys.
I mean, I remember that, but what does this have to do with this episode? Is
Because
that what you're showing?
This was the next week, and then we showed it to Red instead. This, by the way, this isn't live. This is an extra shot. This is we'd already stopped.
Me too.
So this is not part of the episode, and this is what she's reacting to. Is her watching the Peppa Pig thingy or some bullshit?
Me too.
Me, I was like, oh my god, I gotta show it to more people.
I showed
and then
Ren
the next
snorting.
week I had Ren on.
It's Ren. But speaking of, like, Ren looks so different here. Doesn't she?
Hey, no, she looks the same.
Like, everything, like, did she do her makeup differently now? Her whole face looks different. I'm just like, what the, like,
I
is this,
think her hair is lighter.
yeah, there's a
Lighter?
I know. It's like,
Here?
how much lighter?
Lighter than this.
I was gonna say, that's just
I'm not
white.
kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
is she okay?
I know. Is she okay?
Are she still dying?
Should we check on her?
It's so awkward.
Dissipating?
Oh, remember this?
Oh my god. Was that offshore podcast?
We just reacted to the hi, welcome to Chili's thing, the little thing that Heidi sent us for like 30 for like
Chili's.
for forever.
Iconic Vine.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! And then we actually it's a clip somewhere of us just talking about vines, but let me this will be some of the last clips we show, and so because not all of them are like as funny as those. Let me find. That's a horrible thing to mute pause. All of us laugh. Wait, what episode is this? Oh, I picked another Callie one. Oh, this is the episode I think. Hold on. Isn't this the episode?
No, because I'm holding my penguin, so I didn't need the manga. Oh man, this is before I had my craft room because I had my 3D.
Oh, you're right. You're holding you hold the penguin instead.
Oh,
This is worth. Where's that penguin?
Yeah. I miss my Uchichi.
Look at your
I really
hair.
wanna go home
Oh,
with
she found the
him.
penguin.
There he is!
It's the
Please.
penguin.
I like how cursed that Raichu plush looks.
No,
yeah.
I still have that one actually. It's right here. Oh no,
It
it's not right
looks
here.
so cursed. Like,
That actually is. That was a pretty expensive one I got. I don't even know why I bought it. I think I was drunk at the Pokemon store in Japan. Did you fall? It looked like you fell.
they did.
Knocked over the fan and it fell on me. Oh, I'm the one who fell.
Turtleneck?
Callie, like, are you wearing a turtleneck? Oh my
Man's
god.
always wearing a damn turtleneck.
Okay, I mean, that's what Konaru said there too. Like he's always wearing.
Always
a turtleneck.
stupid wearing that turtleneck. Always do this. All the way up here. He's like, nope, I'm not taking off my turtleneck even though it's hot as hell. Stupid.
Also, this is actually the first time I've ever seen our layout of the podcast.
Have you never seen it? Are you serious?
I've
Callie.
never seen it.
I mean, you don't even watch
When
it.
I said I don't watch podcasts, I really don't watch the podcast.
Oh, by the way, this is the happy birthday banner I mentioned that I didn't have when it was Tiffany's birthday.
I'm so mad.
Yeah, this is it exactly.
You
And-
suck. You know that?
That's Max and that's Zach, who hasn't been on the podcast. I went to his Animal Crossing island and I started picking his weeds, and he got really mad at me.
Dude, don't pick people's weeds. Why would you do that?
He got really mad. Fun fact:
Yeah, you guys are right to get mad.
that picture in the upper right that's racist. In Max's box, I mean racist on my part. In Max's box, that's I called her Callie. But that picture in the top right of Max's box is actually a picture she drew during the podcast of the character on the left. It's Lopez. That's his name. I can't remember his name from Animal Crossing.
Kind of ugly.
He is. That's her favorite villager, though.
Oh, kind of
So-
ugly.
He's so
I would
ugly.
bully that one.
Oh man! Get off my island, you ugly punk!
I would be where that ugly.
But hold on, let me find it.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Oh god! If all the people's gonna go to the bathroom,
Oh wait,
you're gonna miss the
I'll
also.
stay for a little bit. Ew, oh my god, I love that sweater I had.
I know what happened
I
to
had
it,
with me.
but no, this is the podcast that Sylvia. Oh, she already did it.
come here.
She got mad and she's getting really bratty. She's doing it right here. Oh yeah, look. She gets really bratty and she legit just starts ignoring us and we're doing a reaction. Look, she gets up and starts walking around. Have you ever? Would you ever do this to us, Callie? Like you can't really follow the context, but she's like legit ignoring
Like
us.
Only as like a joke, but never seriously.
And then like at some point, I think it already happened. At some point, like where is it? Or is it during our? Oh no, it's right. I think it's right there, where she starts like laying down, and she stays like this. And then at one point, she starts snoring. Remember that, Konaru? And I was like, "What the fuck?" And she did this for like she was doing this for like you can still see them scrubbing it. She was doing this for like a good like third of the podcast until like Max joined. But yeah, I'm trying to find the part where she actually. Oh, during that actually, there's a part where she pulls up. Oh, there it goes. Where she pulls up a blanket. I didn't know she kept doing it when Max joined. But yeah, so Callie, this is some bad hosting. You should do this one day. What happened? I can't hear you.
This is what I've been missing out on.
Yeah, this is the quality content you don't see by not watching Ultra Podcast Z on the regular.
You mean I can just sleep during podcasts? It's fine.
Oh, and then Konaru's camera died. It legitimately died
What?
during that podcast. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But no, we had.
Okay, actually, I really gotta
Go
go to the
ahead.
bathroom.
Go ahead.
Excuse me.
There's actually a lot of really good episodes that we've had. If only you watched, Kelly. If only you watched. I'm trying to find some of the Halloween ones, and I don't have these numbered correctly.
Well, you
It's
guys
okay.
have a Real
I wanna-
Housewives podcast, and then I would probably watch.
You what?
I watched 2 Real Housewives podcasts, but I've never seen an episode of Real Housewives.
Wait, what episode is this? And where's our background? This is the Halloween.
This
you
is the
were on.
Halloween candy episode.
This is the
Oh,
candy one.
there's
Your background should always look like that, Manuel.
I know, with like lights. I still have all the
Thank you.
lights.
It looks cute. Don't people set up their backgrounds like that?
yeah.
It actually looks more like your background's so dark it looks like it was mukbang.
Oh my god!
Where everything pitch black and they're like eating the tables all the way up there. And they're like this.
That was the one where we did this.
Yeah, the candy tears.
Oh my god. I want to participate in these kind of podcasts. Why do you always
I know.
invite me to the not these exciting ones.
This
Come
is actually a
on.
really good one. Look at this. I'm already getting antsy. Look at this list again because there's some weird placement. Like, why the it's probably me who did it.
Manuel wants to do a part 2 to the candy podcast, and I don't want to because we've already talked about all my favorite candies.
There are some candies missing. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but like I specifically left off more than 30. I'll have to pull up the list. It's actually in our Google Drive.
I bet they're all boomer candies.
I mean, there's boomer candies in here, like Whoppers.
That's true. There are boomer candies in there.
Like Milk Duds.
You don't have those, what is it? Babe
Milk
Ruth?
Duds are not boomer candies. They're delicious.
What?
Those
Dum
things
Dums? No, Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth is one of the candies that we didn't include that will be in the next one.
Babe Ruth are boomer candies, and they're gross.
I kind of like them.
I think
Anything
there's
that has like coconut or like a lot of almonds or anything like that, I don't like.
So, Almond Joys.
Yeah, oh my god.
Oh,
Almond Joys
yeah.
are actually the worst candy in the world to me.
They are. They would be like below F tier for me.
What is Max doing here? She's like, looks like she's dead. I think this was
That's
a
her
Halloween
aesthetic.
episode. No, this is the one where like I don't know if I should
See, the lights look so nice. You should do the lights like that all the time. And it's best when your face is not showing too.
Damn! This was a Halloween episode, so Max is actually I think she's like sort of dressing up as Pom Pom Pudding or something. But or someone, I forget exactly what she's doing here. But she's attempting a costume, I think. I'm trying to see what episode that is so I can go back to other Halloween ones.
Oh, by the way, the Halloween candy episode is the episode that my grandma watched.
Oh, did she like it?
I don't know, she didn't say. But since Manuel keeps tagging me in the Facebook posts, like,
I didn't
my
tag you in
family
this
kept
one.
seeing it.
I'm dying. I didn't tag you in
What's
this one,
going on?
Yeah, you did stop tagging me, thank you.
That camera angle.
See, look how different Ren looks. This is the same person who was in the other one. Her hair is lighter, isn't it? I think Konaru was right. Look, she's still gone.
I guess so.
Hers a little lighter, but also it's mostly that she's wearing falsies. So her
Oh! See, I noticed her face is different, but I would never point that out.
It's also like an angle difference too.
Well, yeah, she's like... also, fun fact, Konaru's not here for this, but she made that reference. Was this before she became all e-girl, like, famous? This is before Ren became e-girl famous. That first one. This one she already was. But that first one, where she was, like, sitting on her bed, like, she didn't have her, like, Twitch empire and all her other empire-y things yet. Stream empire.
I'm creating a Twitch empire? Is that what's going on? I'm just...
But yeah, she has a set up already.
Coronavirus, it's time to become an e-girl.
Yeah, everyone has to become an e-girl.
I want to be an e-girl. Is that how you make money?
I have no idea what this is.
You get your simps. You become an e-girl. You get simps. Make bank.
Profit.
Profit.
I didn't even know what Sims was. I didn't know what Sims was until yesterday. I legit had to ask my friend. I'm like, does Sims mean like Simpsons?
Oh my god!
Are you serious?
The real boomer Tiffany.
I know, really.
Oh god! No, I don't know. I don't know like that kind of internet lingo. I don't
Tiffany
know.
didn't know what a simp was until yesterday.
It has a status of something Sims, and I'm like, what does that mean? But I never bothered to look it up, and it's not in my Twitter. Like my Twitter doesn't have anyone talk about Sims. It just has the same Sailor Moon meme,
The same
but
one.
over and over.
Keep open, huh? What are you saying, Konaru?
I was saying the Sailor Moon Twitter meme that's going on around now. I keep seeing it everywhere.
I know.
Yeah, it's my whole Twitter feed.
Yeah, I just saw a really inappropriate one today, and I was like, ugh.
Do you remember what this podcast was about? Because I was watching this. This isn't even a thumbnail. This is me checking audio, and Warren is legit just playing the bass. What podcast were we ever on together, Konaru? Where it was this cast? Was it Deep Web? So I hear talking about.
Wait, when are we gonna do our?
Because that was like the popular thing to do. Was like let's like YouTubers get the mystery boxes.
Oh yeah, the Deep Web.
I'm gonna see you from the deep web, and then they're like, oh my god, there's a head in here or something.
Hey guys, this YouTuber, I just got a really exciting,
Yeah. When are we gonna do that parakeet cult podcast?
Oh yeah, we should do that one.
Where we all get converted. Ew.
It's funny because this podcast is actually Konaru's idea, but like she wasn't here for this one. This was us reacting to bootleg Party City costumes and having like just like what's this?
Oh, that one's so weird.
Eyeless Jack. But yeah. You're gonna get this.
You should have bought a bunch of those costumes and reviewed it.
Fun fact: I didn't know this when we asked Ren to be on this one, but she actually she was working at a party store at the time. Like she was like managing or like she was a manager at like a pop-up party store, which I won't name. Unlike me naming Party City every 3 seconds. So I didn't know that. So we actually had very similar like stories about like Halloween nonsense for this one. Jasmine's just sitting there like I don't know what these guys are talking about. Poor Jasmine. You can see it in her eyes, which is like, what are they going on about? It's retail bullshit. Why does Red keep freezing? See, she froze, but wait, there's more. Everyone should go watch that episode. I remember the story actually. I can't find the earlier Halloween ones though. Those are the better ones. No offense to you guys. I don't like Callie's candy list. She likes bad candy. She likes Butterfinger.
I have great tasting candy.
She likes
I'll have you know.
Butterfinger.
No, I don't like Butterfinger anymore because they changed the recipe and the new recipe sucks.
Wait, really? They did? I haven't
Yes.
had Butterfingers in such a long time. Like, what did they
They
change about
changed the
it?
recipe. I mean, some people like it. I hate it. It's a lot less sugar and a lot more peanut butter.
No.
I know, right?
This was if you ever wanted to see, this is the Red and Manuel drunk podcast. I'm drinking water by this point though. She's getting her bad Japanese. It's funny because I kept going to the bathroom and like you can keep. She kept trying to enter. We actually had a really big crowd for this one, like watching live.
Then I think it's great.
I don't know if I should show this one because there's actually parts I censored.
Be allowed to record videos and photos.
What is she talking about? I'm trying to find
She's talking about like recording videos and stuff. I don't know.
Oh, I showed that creepy clown picture I had of mine. There's a part. Oh, she got her buddy. She took a shot. She took a shot in that one. I can't find it because this is. Oh, she showed a picture of Vic Mignogna. That's what I'm trying to find.
Oh my god.
You see somewhere in here.
Vic
There it goes. There it goes. That's us. That's us. That's us posing for the thumbnail. I chose not to do, by the way.
Oh my god.
Because at the time it was already a piece of shit. But I mean, like it didn't quite blow up as big as it has. And now I'm like, it's over a year later. I'm like, it's lost a lot of its fun, and it'd just be like us. Oh, this is the edit. This is the edit already. Actually, this one's only 3 hours long, but the full one's over 4. Believe it or not.
Dang.
Yes. Oh, there it goes. I saw it for a second. Why's she showing off her feet there? That was awkward.
Not the feet.
She legit. Look at me. I'm not even looking at her. She's doing a dance cover that no one can hear. This is the quality content you miss, Callie, by not watching Ultra Podcast Z.
I'm filled with regret.
Yes, look at this. You can watch a drunk girl do I think she's doing Hakachumu actually. But
is it?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, now it is.
Now it is. You can hear her singing. This is quality drunk podcast. I have not shared this one either. I mean, it's on YouTube, but I haven't shared it. It's just there if you want to watch it. I'm just like, it's kind of hidden, but it's gotten a lot of views, and it's actually had a lot of retention. Like people just sat down to it. So, but yeah, I don't think she realized that nobody could hear the music.
It's like screams like. Maybe I should say it, but it kind of screams like Venus and Angelic.
It screams like what? What, Angelic?
Venus Angelic.
Oh. But yeah, this was a great one because we actually did have real topics, and then we just our hair came down at some point. That's me showing off my Animal Crossing.
Oh, look!
ACNL.
When Animal Crossing was a little bit like less relevant at the time because people were like not as hype.
They weren't as woke. Animal Crossing is the correct opinion.
But yeah, there was a part where we both drew Ruby, which is our favorite. Is both of mine and look. That's my drawing of Ruby down there on the bottom right.
Ew! What is wrong?
That's my drawing of Ruby.
That shit. Oh, Manuel, what the heck?
And then that's hers. But yeah,
that one's kind of funny.
And we did this on Paint really fast. Like we kind of had a time limit. We were just like, okay, done. And then like she drew hers pretty well. But look at mine. Mine's just like
look, hers. You know those creepypasta versions or like the weird broken versions that like of games people make, and they're like the sounds like all like crackling and stuff. That's what it would come out. You know.
No, it's funny because I tried to I tried to make the chick yellow. Like there's a chick on her shirt. That's what that is, by the way. And somehow when I clicked the chick, the entire page turned yellow, and I had no idea.
Because she didn't close the lines, dummy.
Yeah, it didn't fill. It just destroyed everything. That's embarrassing. But yeah, see, look at the stuff you're missing, Callie. All the great podcasts. Don't you?
I just can't believe it.
I mean, it's great. Let me try to. I wanted to show this one off real fast. There was one. This is the perfect pre-Angie becoming a Twitch streamer moment, because it's the one time it was just me and Angie, and I don't think this will ever happen again.
Oh yeah,
this is laying down on a bed.
No, she's not. That's just a bed just there. But this is like a few months.
No, you.
Oh, I'm not. I put stuff.
I know, but it looked like it for a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh, we talked about Logan Paul. Remember that? Remember that?
Oh, I remember.
But yeah, we used to have topics, more like legit topics back then, and we talked about she was the new member, I guess, at the time of BIS or something. Oh look, we actually still did a what the fuck comment Joshi, whatever the fuck was going on here. Yeah, this is
like early when she like first moved. There's like nothing on her walls yet and stuff.
Oh, this is the what the fuck comment Joshi. See, look, we used to react to stuff like this, Callie.
Hi.
Joshi.
Comment Joshi's an idol group.
Oh.
And eventually we just did Kamiya Arena.
Anyway, even if we react to it on Twitch. Oh my gosh.
How are you watching it? Oh, you're watching it.
I'm watching it.
But yeah, this is it's just like I always look back on this. I've asked Angie to be on the podcast several times since, and usually she just ignores me. Which is hilarious because like it's not like she ignores me all the time. Like if I'll message her about like something silly or I send her a meme, she'll laugh or send me a meme back, or we'll joke around. Whenever it's the podcast, she won't say no. She'll just ignore me. But yeah, this was the kind of thing Tiffany would not do, and she wanted to watch the fucking that Peppa Pig video
because it's so cringe. Like Comment Joshi, these are like, it's like very like as a Japanese person watching it, it's so cringe because it's like common comedian things that people do. Mm-hmm. It's like overdone, but they're like, look, it's an idol doing it, but it's not as funny as a comedian, so it just comes off as like, you're desperate, huh? Like as a Japanese person, seeing all that content already.
By the way, this idol group is that one that we that I mentioned on the last podcast with Hina. That this is that cryptocurrency idol group. I can't remember the name anymore. But like one of them's called like Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin Cash, and then like I think half of these currencies don't even exist anymore. But yeah. Remember when cryptocurrency was like the hot topic?
Still the hot topic.
I mean, like
now that photo. I always think about that AJ photo, and how like we always try to retake big photos and it just doesn't work out.
This is the only one we've ever done like semi correctly. Now, fun fact: Tiffany actually in the final photo that I've never like shown anywhere. She's doing like a peace sign kind of thing. Her hands are going up in this one. And that's why Tiffany kind of has this awkward pose where her hands are like doing this like floaty thing. You notice that, Tiffany? Because your hands are coming up. I took
like this, but then I guess I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I took like 5 pictures.
Doing this.
I took 5 pictures in a row because it was like click, click. I mean, like it's on a timer, and it was like click, 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 or whatever. And this was the first one. It was the only one where somebody wasn't blinking, so I had to use it. But yeah,
so sad.
But Tiffany's hands, she's not actually finished posing, and I actually like ran back there. I'm like, okay, nobody, because I set it up, then I like run around the back and like get in the spot. But yeah, it's sad. What's more sad is that I made the joke about everyone on the podcast still being around. Everyone in this picture is not still around.
Yeah.
Obviously, Molly still is. I am Tiffany. Angie technically still is, and then a very awkward like picture to show, but that's a pre-transitioned Rose on the far right. But yeah, Paloma left amicably, and then the less said about Eunice and Kaz, how they left is the story. I'll leave it that to be polite. And yeah.
There's something about that photo. Perhaps it's just how short Tiffany is, but it makes it look like Tiffany is like typical height, and then everyone else is really tall.
Well, like I feel like something about how I'm standing too. Like I am not that. I am not quite a bit. No, but I'm actually a decent. I think I'm more taller than unless Molly's wearing like heels. I think I'm quite a bit taller than Molly than it looks like here. Because like it looks like me and Molly are almost the same height. I don't know if you can see my mouse pointing here, but yeah, I'm quite a bit taller than her, not like an inch only. I think cause I am behind everyone. Like it's forced perspective. You guys can't really see. Like I'm not in this gap. I'm like decently back there. But anyway,
good times.
Good times.
I don't even. That was at ALA too. Didn't we? Was it this year or last year that we tried to take a group photo at ALA?
It was last year, and we actually they didn't take. Like it was funny because like everyone was like, at least show us. I'm like, they literally did not take. I don't know what the camera was doing, but they didn't take the pictures.
So sad.
Yeah, fun fact: this is the very first thumbnail we ever did for A to J, and it's one of the Max ones. And I think I had this idea talking to Ren, because Ren would be on the week after this, I think. And she'd be 2 weeks on, because the next week was with Tiffany. For some reason, because I hung up on you guys. Because the reason why the next podcast doesn't have a thumbnail, because the next one, when we were taking the thumbnail, you didn't want to do the reaction video, so I hung up on you guys. So, but Ren gave me the idea to just pose during the actual thing and just use that. And where is the pose? I'm trying to find the actual pose. Yeah, that's the pose. This is the very first time we ever did a A to J thumbnail. But yeah, the next one doesn't have one, and if anyone wants to know that story, I just remembered it right now. I forgot. Because do I have that recorded though? Let me find it. I don't. Yeah, I don't have that one recorded. Why not? That's sad. I was hoping that I could find the one where like, Konaru, in a hotel room. What is this? What is this setup you have going on, Konaru?
Because where was I coming from? I think I was coming from New York from any party. I think.
And that's Jimmy. That's Jimmy. The only time he was ever on. Now this is actually a really cool podcast. Yeah, exactly. This is a really cool podcast because I always point to this one, and it's sad it's been so long ago because Jimmy was part of it. I think he's no longer in there for the record, but at the time he was part of an outlet that I was very vocally against, and I would always make all these posts about them. And just to prove that I'm friends with other members in the outlet, I just hated one person. I had Jimmy on, and it was a really cool one. And but yeah, I should ask him to be on. I wonder how he's doing right now. I haven't talked to him in about 6 months. He used to, I don't know if they revived it, but he used to have another podcast called the Slope Podcast.
They still run their stuff. Like
they stopped for a while. They stopped for a long time though. Like at one point, I went to go look them up, and I'm like, oh, they're gone, or they're on hiatus for 6 months or something. It was a while when I noticed it. Like it wasn't like they had just done it. I was trying to stop it.
They popped in on pops in on my streams every once in a while.
But yeah.
Thanks again. Wait, why is your mask so like
Oh
to the
shit!
side? It's been bugging me the whole time. It's like, yeah, there we go. There, yeah.
No, because I keep adjusting it because it's actually really hot here right now. Because when I do the podcast these days, I close the windows and like I kind of box everything up like crazy. It's hard to
Maybe
explain.
if you tuck off your damn turtleneck, it wouldn't be as
I
hot.
actually am wearing a turtleneck under this too, so and I'm also
Always wear a turtleneck.
and I'm also wearing a jacket. Don't ask me why I put
Yeah.
this on, but I'm also
You
wearing a
always
jacket.
you always wear like 10 billion layers, and you're like, I'm just gonna roll up the sleeves. It'll
And
be
I'm
okay.
hot.
I don't.
But yeah, and the mask is on really tight for whatever reason. Like I could have not tied it this tight. And then I keep adjusting it, and every time I adjust it, I move it like an inch or two.
It
off.
always goes that
Yeah.
way.
It's Callie's fault.
What?
See, Callie, aren't you glad? By the way, oh no, it did move back. Okay, aren't you glad to be a part of this lovely podcast? This podcast legacy that A to G has been bringing for like years. Did you just say no?
I said sure.
Oh no, because I didn't hear you say anything. It's just like you mouthed no. Oh man, but yeah, I didn't mean to watch that many clips. We're almost out of time. But fun fact, I was just gonna mention that like yeah, it was started as like the meet Konaru Heidi hour, then it kind of turned to the meet Konaru show, and Konaru's been on almost all the episodes, but not all of them. I didn't show all the clips, but like similar to that one that just had Angie, there were other episodes that just had Tiffany.
Episodes without Konaru.
Yeah, like it's funny because now you'll see an episode like usually has a specific topic, but back then, like yeah, I'm looking at the list. I do have a list of all the hosts that I've ever been on. Like there wasn't the first 4 episodes were like this. It was Heidi, Konaru, Tiffany, Angie, Tiffany, and then Tipu. So there was like Konaru was only on that first one, and then I went to Taiwan. So yeah, like literally immediately after that first episode, Heidi's schedule got like undoable, and then Konaru like died for like a month. I don't know what happened to her, but she got really sick.
Yeah.
And then we came back and like the schedule after that was like Konaru. And it was just Konaru for the longest time. And then we had during our heyday was when we had different hosts like every week. And it's like Heidi, Julianne, Haley, Paida, Martha, Sarah, Tipu, Brita. Remember we had Brita on? Maniac, then Tiffany,
Oh my
Max.
God. Maniac. Those episodes are interesting.
Oh,
He still.
He still does it. Well, okay, I think most of the site is run by other people now. He's still there though. But yeah, he's cool. I like him. He runs a site called homicidals.com, Callie, in case you don't know that. And we've had him.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what you're talking about.
We've had him on the podcast many a time. I've seen his face in pictures, but like his camera never works, even though he's tried. And the very first time we had him on, we did like a 4-hour podcast. And I think we've only ever matched that time with the me and Ren drunk. So yeah. But yeah, it's like remember when we had different guests all the time? David, it's another idol fan from Texas. Jasmine, Jimmy. We had Paper Maiden, who's another member of Homicidals. I don't even know her real name. Ren, Sylvia. All these different people. Then now I just ask Callie every other week, which is fun. But yeah, aren't you glad to be part of this great legacy though? Come on, Callie, show some.
Sure.
Even though you've never seen our setup, you've never watched an episode. You never, like have you never even looked at the chat? You just let it all go.
No, I always have the chat open.
Oh.
I just don't. I just pause the video before the podcast even starts.
Why? You don't want to hear your voice or whatever?
What? Well, what do you mean? That would be insane. That would be so unprofessional to have the stream going at the same time as doing the podcast.
I mean,
I'm a professional.
Damn. Well, to be fair, I do watch the stream, but that's usually because I can see when something's going wrong. Like I'm like, why is it lagging? Or like, why does it have the little the loading bar? Is that me
It's
or
lagging because you have the stream running at the same time.
Damn, Kelly. That probably is a good reason. Why is it lagging? What's my bandwidth being used by? It's like
Yeah, exactly.
streaming and watching the podcast at the same time. But yeah. So this is probably a pointless question to ask because apparently nobody remembers anything. Konaru, do you have any favorite moments of being on the podcast?
When I'm not here, that's my favorite moment.
Damn, that's savage. Stop laughing, Tiffany. Stop laughing, Callie. Tiffany, do you have any favorite moments?
No, I mean,
Surely it's fun.
much of it. I can't remember if there's favorite moments or bad moments or anything. I feel like when we have like an actual format and we have like a proper guest and we have to do like a podcast, I'm like, whoa, feels like I'm doing something. But most of the times it's just me like I'm hanging out with some people and I'm just like,
Well, to be fair, I did want. I didn't say this live, but I did want this one to be more of a chill one. I didn't want it to be this chill. Part of the problem was I told this to only Callie heard this part. Part of the problem was I didn't quite think how daunting it was to go over hundreds and hundreds of hours of footage to like find things to show everyone. I have made compilation videos to a degree that I made. Like I'm gonna upload this. This is like A to J's funniest moments, and like they're so incomplete. I was just like I'm just gonna keep and like they belong to certain little sectors. Like I'll cut out certain jokes I remembered that night, and then I'll forget about like 10 episodes. I was like I'll just watch them fresh, and I'm like you can't watch 200 hours. More than that. That's like on the low end. You can't watch about 300 to 400 hours worth of content at all, for starters, unless you're watching One Piece or some shit. You can't watch that many hours of content unless you watched it first run and remembered everything. But yeah, I still find it funny that Callie has been on a longer chunk of the podcast than I realized. I guess that when you joined, that we kind of got consistent. Like we kind of like did an episode every week. It didn't skip because Konaru remembers the days when we would like skip a month. Remember that? Where we'd like like. So yeah, like if you look at our numbers, I think when you were on 66 episodes, we were already on our second anniversary. So we should have been at about 100 and something. Or close to 100.
Was back then.
Huh?
I just remember seeing everyone planning it and then be like, okay, the next one's gonna be in like 3 weeks because we're busy or something like that.
That's the thing. I consistently have no life, so I'm always available on the podcast.
It's okay, now
That's the
all of
only
us
reason I'm always
have
here.
no.
Yeah, all of us
All
have
of us
no
have
life.
no life right now.
Exactly. That's why there's been so many podcasts.
Yeah, we've been doing two a week since like for 2 months now.
It's like a record. I haven't been on this many podcasts in a while.
I know. And to answer Kelly's kind of original question about the half ones, is that the half episodes actually started because we actually started gaining popularity about episode 15 or so, episode 12. We started getting a following, started like asking people in the community to be on all the guest stuff, and we started writing like the formatted episodes, like kind of the one I showed you with when Angie was on. That episode, even though we didn't watch the whole thing, that episode had a format. We had segments, like we had like things that came every week, like the What the Fuck Kamen Joshi thing, the video reaction segments. Those were weekly things you could always expect to watch, and we started becoming kind of popular, and then I was sitting on this recorded episode that we had done at around episode like 17, like I said, and I didn't know what to do with it because we were suddenly streaming every week, but every week it was live. So I'm like, the next week we skip, I'll put it out, and we never skipped. So I just put it out over a weekend, and I'm like, oh, here's episode 22 and a half. And then like I'm like, that's the only time we'll ever do that. And then I mentioned earlier that Heidi's schedule never worked again. It kind of did, but like it pretty much never worked. She was on a couple main episodes, but almost all the other halves until the quarantine were her episodes because we'd have to schedule her on a Thursday or a Saturday or a Friday. And the running theme was that when it wasn't on a Tuesday-ish, sometimes we shipped to like Wednesday or something like that. If it wasn't on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I guess, we call it a half. And that's how we amassed so many. But yeah, we had about like 8 of those, and then we had like another 7 since the Rona has hit, unfortunately. So yeah, 100 and fucking. This is actually technically 114 episodes. Isn't that insane? I mean, who else would do 114 episodes of something? And I don't want to belittle anyone who watches. You guys are all awesome. I won't say that right away. Everyone's awesome who watches. You guys are all great. I'll keep doing it as long as someone's watching. But who else would do 114 episodes of something to like such I don't want to say minuscule growth. That's like once again something I'm believing that people do watch. You would think people would have given up by now, and that just goes to show that we're both persistent.
It's the human spirit.
Yeah, and I mean it's fun. I find it fun, and people are watching. People do interact, and like I've always said it, like as long as someone's watching and people appreciate the content, I'll keep doing it. Konaru will keep doing it. Callie will keep doing it. Tiffany might keep doing it as long as she's not mad at me this week. But yeah, I don't know. Tiffany and I have been on good terms. I don't know why still she hates me this podcast.
What do you mean this I always hate you. It's consistent.
Damn. It's like Konaru said, I've been fooling myself. Are you watching 90 Day Fiancé?
No, I'm playing with Vroid.
What?
Are you
gonna what? What did you ask her?
Are you gonna become a VTuber?
Maybe, I don't know. I'm just playing around with this because I got bored.
I love Vroid. I love Vroid.
This is my first time using it, and I mean,
oh my god! I just noticed Boomer hates laughter. That was when I told you guys to stop laughing. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, Boomer hates laughter. Oops. I hate you guys. But no, they'll keep watching. I don't know. Let's wrap this up, I guess. It's a nice, like, little fun reminiscence. Oh, Callie, what's your favorite? You have any favorite podcast moments? Like real talk, like you surely you remember more of your appearances. They've all been recent.
I do.
And I have one too. I'll share mine because these fuckers don't have anything. But, yeah.
Honestly, maybe I don't remember as well as I think I do, because the favorite moment that's coming to mind is just last week's balloon animals.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. That actually, like when I made that tweet about I made a tweet for those who didn't see it. So I have like no active followers on Twitter because everyone added me like 5 years ago when I was active then, and then I think because nobody's like interacted with me for like 5 years, nobody sees my tweets anymore. Like people tell me that all the time. Like I don't see your tweets unless they followed me recently. So nobody sees this, but I shared the picture of Callie wearing the dick balloon hat, and I'm like, this is the kind of quality content you miss by not watching UPZ, and that really was a highlight moment for me. No joke. I don't want to put it as my highest because it was so recent, but that was very different.
Balloon is a spot of joy.
And it's also very interesting because I mentioned it. I don't want to go into the whole thing again, but I mentioned it there that I grew to hate balloons because of Party City. And it was interesting seeing them like, oh look, balloons can be fun. Go figure. Once when I was in Party City, there was this girl who her boyfriend told me that she was afraid of balloons, and I thought he was just kind of like joking or just being a little over the top. At one point, one popped in front of her, and she screamed and ran down an aisle. It was like
a lot of people told me that when I was in the midst of my balloon training.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
To be fair, like out of the thousands of customers who came for balloons, that was the one time I ever saw that, and like it was very awkward because it was a very empty-ish store. There was only a few people in there, and like when I say she screamed around on the aisle, I mean that in the most exaggerated way. Like you cannot overthink how dramatic that looked because it was that dramatic. She like screamed really loud and ran. It was like, oh my.
There's a surprising number of people that are like that.
So yeah, I'm gonna pop.
I don't really blame them, honestly.
Pop a balloon in Tiffany's face. Tiffany just shook her head. But yeah, so that was your favorite memory. Huh? Yo, what?
Huh?
You say? No,
I said I'll scream in your face.
Oh God. Remember when we went to Japan together and we had fun? We went to Tokyo Disney Sea and then I died. No, that was another day. Remember when we went to where did we go? Oh, that wasn't with you. Never mind. That was at the zoo. And I went with Eunice. But I went to the zoo and it was really hot and I literally almost died. Like it was so hot, like I got like heat stroke. And I refused to like listen to anyone.
You're almost dying the whole time in Japan, and you're still wearing that stupid turtleneck. So.
Well, I didn't bring other clothes for starters, but it was really hot there. Like I wasn't. I mean, obviously I should have because we went like in August. But yeah, are those your mangas?
Yeah, well, you wanted to find the moment of me dropping all my manga, so I'm not gonna drop it on purpose, but it's pretty likely.
My favorite memory for Konaru, because she didn't have one, was let me think of one actually. I didn't have this off the top of my head. My favorite.
You fake.
Damn! Why are you so mean?
Oh, that's my favorite. Honestly, my favorite part is ragging on you.
No, my favorite part of Konaru was actually, no joke. Did she do it or did? Well, I don't remember, but I'll still count this towards you. She reviewed this BNK48 documentary that was on Netflix, and
That is my. Oh my god.
see, how do you how was that not yours? She reviewed this BNK48 documentary on Netflix, and the director liked our tweet. And not only the director liked our tweet, the director of the documentary, when I was like, "Hey, we're doing a BNK48 podcast next week," he retweeted it, and we had a lot of BNK48 fans in our stream. He was probably in there too. I don't know if he had what his username was, and that was like that to this day was our most popular podcast, like on Twitch, I should say, because it has. Well, it's gone now because archives don't stay that long. It had hundreds and hundreds of views, and I've never seen that on one of our videos. Like, our videos only get like maybe max like 20 some odd views on Twitch before it disappears. People kept watching it there, and when we were live, I think we maintained. I don't think we ever dropped below like 40, and like we maintained usually like about 60 people watching, and the chat was active. Like, people were speaking English, stuff like that too. Like, we were talking about some of the we were like just talking about some BNK stuff, and they would answer questions for us and so on. It was actually really fun. Remember that, Konaru? That was crazy.
When we had like our BNK days. So
Yeah.
I need to bring those back.
I still want to talk about BNK48, but that was fun. Imagine that, having a podcast where we had 40 like it never dropped below like 40 people, and the chat was fully active. But yeah, and my favorite memory for Tiffany was what is her favorite memory for Tiffany?
Don't have one.
No, I'm trying to remember. Like, I was gonna say it, but it wasn't this one. Because I was gonna say, like, the time we asked you what that colorful drawer thing behind you was, and you went to go show it off, and you knocked everything down. But that was a different podcast.
Wow.
No, my favorite memory for Tiffany, I guess, was, believe it or not, there's actually a long stretch where it was just Tiffany and myself, and I don't remember all the topics, but one of those was I think a Christmas one, and I don't know. Tiffany always says some bullshit. It's always funny to watch. And
Well,
you know what I mean.
Great.
That sounded terrible. But and I don't think Tiffany ever made it to a recorded episode. So one of my favorite memories of Tiffany was that time that she got mad and wouldn't go. Not got mad, where she wouldn't go to the recorded episode, and I got mad and didn't do the live one.
why is that? That's not even what.
No, and when you think about it, when you think about that story, if that story had happened differently, our 100th episode would have been last week. If you want to look at that in a totally different light, our 100th would have been last week, and our 99th would have been 2 weeks ago. Because we were still numbering the recorded episodes back then. Because it was very early on where she wouldn't be on. But I think I was mad because, like, it was very early on, and I think it was when Konaru was sick, so I was like struggling already to get the podcast happening, and then like you went into the recorded one. Well, to be fair, I didn't get mad and not do the live one. I just thought you weren't gonna do it, and then when you told me you were ready, I was like, I'm not gonna fucking do it. So then by then I was mad, but yeah.
Great.
But
Great memory.
yeah, Tiffany and I hate each other. Yay! My favorite memory of the podcast, besides the one I already mentioned, was probably I don't know, there's so many. There's like there was a time when the ones we already showed, like when Sylvia was sleeping everywhere. That was kind of funny, even though it was obnoxious. There was that in that same episode, I didn't show it. She started shooting like the whole thing with the gun because she wanted the podcast to end, and she like stood up and was like yelling at everything. There was a time when Konaru and I were doing a podcast, and like I forgot I was like, I used to have this chair that was like a stool, and like it wasn't a stool though, it was a chair, so it was kind of sloped back, and if I leaned too far back, I would like always be in danger of falling. And there was a time when we were doing in the middle of like in the middle of one of our MV reviews. It was me, Konaru, and Julianne, and we're doing one of the MV reviews, and like I leaned back to laugh at a joke one of them had said, and I fell. Do you remember that, Konaru?
I do remember that.
And I straight up fell, and it was like, and like everyone in the chat's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm fine, I'm fine." That was bound to happen. I needed a new chair, and even though I needed a new chair, I still kept that chair until very recently. I have a new chair now. You can really tell it's like a really stupid big office chair, but I only got this chair maybe about like 8 months ago, and I still kept that chair even though it like literally made me fall in the podcast. My favorite UMPC moment is when Manuel went on a tirade on Brett. Oh my god! Okay, that's kind of recent too. Now, Callie and Tiffany weren't there for this, but I legit was having a fit, and I'm kind of getting one every time you guys bring up bread. But like, you don't understand.
Bread.
Like, you guys worked me up, and like the chat, and then like the part that pissed me off the most is that like when I was having my big flip out moment, I was like yelling and like I was like losing it. Suddenly, our stream got popular, remember? And like we had that random who was in there, and I swear to God,
I'm pretty sure what happened was someone posted like off like on their side like, "Yo, look at this dude, he's like getting really heated about bread."
Yeah, because suddenly our stream went like it jumped way into the teens, and I'm like, what is going on? Why is everyone watching me yell about bread? You guys want to see me die? You guys want to see me like? Remember that started like flipping out even more, and like it was legit about 45 minutes, like no joke. Okay.
Oh my god.
The unbroken part.
This had to be pretty recently, right?
Yeah, this is like Quarantine Blues episode 3. This is like it was just me, Konaru, and Janet. It was the first one Janet's ever been on, and like I fucking lose it, and like I went on about bread for about 90 minutes, but like that was broken up.
God.
But like the part where it was unbroken was at least like 15-20 minutes, like legit, where I was like ranting and raving. And then everyone in the chat was like getting like I said, like Konaru said, there was like a random like viewer who probably just stumbled on us that night, and he commented on there about he joined in the bread talk, and then like I really think it was him who went to like r/bread making or some shit like that, like a Reddit post or something, and it was like guys, this guy's losing it on Twitch about bread, and then everyone just watched me or something, because like I don't know what happened. It just like that was the worst part, because I legit was calming myself down until I noticed that my flip out was getting us views, and I was so mad that like made me more mad.
You know, sometimes, you said you went on a tirade over bread for 90 minutes. Sometimes I wonder why you even bother to have guests.
I could just sit here, guys, I hate bread.
You do most of the talking anyways.
No, like, for the record, there have been podcasts where I don't do a lot of talking. Those are actually some of my favorite. They reminded me of this. There was a podcast that Max was on, and I can't remember. It was a Halloween one. I think it might have been the child trauma one. I don't remember. But like she legit like dominated that conversation. I don't know if Konaru remembers this. She was on it. She legitimately dominated it. And like I barely talked. And like there have been others like that. It depends on the guest. And I've mentioned this before. I don't know if Callie's ever heard this, but like it's always a running joke that I'll keep talking if you let me, because dead air.
Yeah, you actually do have to tell Manuel to
shut
up if you want to say something.
Because dead air is the worst thing. Like, it legit is. Like, I'd rather keep talking. I'd rather somebody keep talking than it turns silent. Because that literally is the worst thing you could ever have in any form of media. And if you ever want to shut me up, just interrupt. And then you could just keep talking, and I'll shut up. So that's the easiest way to get me to stop. I don't know if I probably never told Callie that, actually. But if you...
No, I mean, I can assume.
Yeah, if you let me keep talking, I'll just keep talking. And I'll rant and rave. But also, like, similar to when I do the panels and stuff like that, I could do a panel by myself, but I feel I'm a lot less animated and a lot more dry if I don't have somebody to bounce things off of. So yeah.
I'm saying we need to do a Drink Talk Learn this Saturday.
We could do it.
Let's do it. Drink Talk Learn, where everyone presents their panel topics.
Well, let's do it, because I can already tell you right now that we're supposed to do Edoguro. This will be the thing when we wrap it up. We're doing that this Saturday because we were supposed to do the Edoguro panel instead of Fanime, and then Rachel, who I do the Edoguro panel with, is not available after all. and my other friend Danny was gonna do it, but I don't think she realizes that Rachel's not gonna be there, so she'll just join the Drink Talk Learn, and we'll move on from there. So like now she's on Drink Talk Learn, go figure, and then we'll do this. I'll get us people, don't worry. Konaru be on if you're not streaming yourself. Did you even share a stream this time?
What?
Oh, we
Me?
have, yeah.
Yes, I did.
I'm just saying that for the fuck of it. I need to set up the A to J stream to stream you automatically. I set up my personal one. But anyways, we're doing that this Saturday. I'm going to wrap it up here. Tiffany, sing us out.
What? No.
No, I'm joking. That's not the way I'm going to end it. I have a few more things to say. But no, I remember one of the first times I ever, before even the A to J Talks days, I remember Tiffany used to, we already talked about this before on another podcast. Tiffany would stream on like Nico or whatever, and I watched several of them. I don't know if I ever told you how many I watched, but you shared me a couple. But I watched a bunch on my own. I remember specifically I was out getting ramen with Garway, and we were watching your stream, and I don't think we ever told you this, but yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that was legit. I mean, Garway was here in Torrance for the record, so that was how long ago that was. But
Yeah.
that was about 4 or 5 years ago. Like I said, before even ADG Talks. But anyways, I just wanted to... my point to bringing that up, about bringing up the Nico thing, is I remember she would do a lot of... She did, like, just speak in Japanese. I never knew what she was saying. But she would also sing.
Yeah, and I didn't even have a proper mic. What was I even singing on?
I don't even remember. Like, I don't remember. Like, I have no idea. Those were just funny days. You would sing, and then you'd have long stretches in Japanese. Where I'm like, I don't know what she's saying. We just like kind of like just listen.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Oh.
Do it.
And now everyone else is doing all the streaming, and I'm like, I'm a boomer. I don't understand it.
See, like even this person, the mod friend or whatever, says you should sing us out. But before we pressure Tiffany to sing us out, I'm gonna give my last bits of news. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe on Twitch, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. If at any point we made you laugh, or you know what, I'll stop saying that.
Shut up.
Damn. I'll stop saying it like that. If you really want to help us out and keep growing, honestly, the biggest way to do it, to get us past like into 100 episodes, is just to honestly like or dislike the video, comment on the video, is just to interact with it. Literally the best thing you could do. You can support us on Patreon, which, by the way, shout out to Ed and Kenneth, our current patrons, and you can do that on patreon.com/connections. Links to all that below. But honestly, if you don't want to do any of that, the easiest way to support us is literally to hit a like or dislike or comment. Literally, I mean,
it's gay. Just like Manuel.
I prefer the likes. Every time we used to do the alt idol podcast, like when we talk about alt titles, we would get like 14, 20 some odd dislikes, and then like a handful, and then like 3 likes. And I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, I'd actually go to my friends and like, guys, like this video so we can get the ratio up, because it's like 3%, it's like 10% right now. But to be fair, I usually don't do that otherwise. I only do that when like they're tanking us, and I don't want to look like, you know. And they're doing it on purpose. They're not watching it. They're just mad at us because somebody said that we said something bad. But anyways, so yeah, do that. Doritos. It's funny because I kept telling Rachel today, because she like, I probably should say this, but actually I'm not gonna say it. I already said her name. But I kept telling Rachel today about like my running jokes. I was half asleep most of the day. Is like the old meme about like, you know, do drug, eat hot chip. You know, whatever happened to the eat hot chip memes?
Eat hot chips.
Oh, people still do it. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen those in a while. I felt like a dead meme. I'm glad I said it today.
It recently, actually.
Oh, it did. So yeah, eat hot chip. Maybe that's why I kept saying it.
Hot chip and lime.
Maybe I just didn't. Maybe I subconsciously noticed the revival and just, yeah. Anyway,
hey, thanks chat for the bits. Sorry.
Yeah.
look at Callie. She's on it.
I used to stream. Isn't that wild?
I think you streamed when I don't know if you were streaming still, but like I remember you mentioned it when we met at
Yes.
Yes,
when I first started doing this podcast, I was like still kind of trying to stream, but I was like streaming making cosplay, and when you stream and make cosplay at the same time, you don't do a super great job at either of them. So
I mean, yeah. Like I try to do some gaming streams, but unless I'm just doing it for fun or playing a more lighthearted game, like it's hard to play and talk and just not to sit there and just play, you know.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
I just do that. Like I'm playing this, no commentary. That'll be my
Yeah, either you're just so concentrated or you suck, but you're talking, you know?
So, but anyway, let's wrap it up there. Thank you so much, Callie, for joining us tonight. I didn't mention this earlier, but Callie was kind of a last minute addition too, because I wanted somebody who was on older wise, like in past podcasts, but like Jasmine's gonna be on, nobody else could be on. I didn't even bother asking Angie.
The real secret is I'm always a last resort.
Real talk about Callie, about this one particularly. I did want her on as well, not just to be the control about like laughing about like, oh, this is the podcast you could have been on like if you joined us a year or two ago. Not that you're really joining us now, but I mean like, but more so that Callie technically, honestly, represents like the current state of the podcast, and that really is.
When I joined, that's when everything really went to shit.
Oh yeah, that's. God damn it!
It's not entirely untrue.
The literal shit posting Twitter.
Oh.
Let's leave it at that. No link to that. Just discover that on your own if you have free time. I really need to pee too. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank y'all for watching. Tiffany, sing us out. Oh, we're live this Saturday. Drink Talk. What's Drink Talk Learn?
Yeah. What time?
Is that actually happening, or
it's actually happening? It should still be 6 p.m. Maybe we'll do a little earlier for this one. Maybe we'll do 5. I'll wing it. I might drink the night before, which is why I don't want to like contribute to too early, and then I sleep through it. But like last time we did the metal one, I literally woke up like around 4 before we did the podcast. So we'll see what happens. But maybe we'll do 4 or 5. Maybe I won't drink. God forbid. I'll just
4, but
I'll be professional. We'll talk. Keep an eye on Twitter for that. Keep an eye on Twitch. We'll have it in the schedule. Konaru, sing us out.
I sang.
You sang? What was that?
Yeah. There you go.
Tiffany, sing us out.
Talent.
Sing us out, Tiffany. For the bits. Oh my god, that's not singing. Forget your voice. Thank y'all for watching. We made it to 100. We made it over 100. I like how people are tuning in now. We have like. Why do people tune in now? Thank you for tuning in, though. Catch us earlier next time. On that note, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank y'all for watching. Get us to more episodes. If you're watching on YouTube, then thank you as well. Like I feel like we don't shout out our YouTube audience that much, because they are there. But a lot of them are silent. But we get a lot of likes, and I don't know. And I actually know some of the viewers who watch us on YouTube instead of like Twitch. But so thank you to YouTube. Thank you to everyone. And on that note, good night. Take care of yourself.
Good night.
Be healthy.
read beast.
Read B
Read
stars.
B stars.
Stars.
Yeah. There's a bunny, and she has sex. Good night.
No. Well, kind of.
No. Well, kinda. On that note, good night. Peace. Good night.